Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, the most trusted name in local news for local people. And I'm joined, as always, by Rob via Skype. How you doing there, Rob?
Hello, folks. Yes, I'm okay, actually. Yeah, a bit tired, but I'm
I think
okay.
I complained last week that I don't know if I did on air, but I'm pretty sure I did complain that we had seemed to have skipped summer and gone straight to winter. But I'm happy to say today was a lovely autumnal day.
It was, actually. It was quite warm. I'm quite surprised, although having looked at the weather forecast for the next couple of days, it looks horrendous.
Yeah. Well, look, for the fastidious amongst you, we're recording today on the 10th of October 2019. And this is episode 289 now, I believe. I'm looking at Rob, sort of. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, 289. Local news for local people. Look, we've got some cracking stories for you this week. Rob, do we have any news?
Just a few bits of news, yeah. So I'm not sure if you're aware, it's World Mental Health Day today.
I didn't know that, no. And I won't say what my profession is, but given what my profession is, I should have known that. So.
Well, yeah, I didn't like to mention it. But yeah, I just thought I'd let people know. I've also just posted, I posted this morning actually on both our social media channels, a link to the World Mental Health Day page on Mind's website. And this is why I love our listeners. So both Amy and Steve have also replied. Amy has sent a link to a website called Anxiety No More, which she recommends. And then Steve has followed that with a great mental health quiz on the NHS website. So if anyone is struggling and just being serious for a moment, it might be good for you to check those out.
Yeah, nice touch there, Rob. Oh, yeah, I was actually not aware of that. It completely passed me by. But it's always, look, every day is something where we should focus this on. But it's good to have it sort of put in the calendar as a reminder for us, I think. A reminder for us all.
Yeah.
Any other news, Rob?
Just one piece now, back to the insanity, which might be in poor taste considering what I was just talking about. It really
is, Rob, yeah.
Yeah. Apologies. So Steve has submitted a cutting from Snarl, but I believe that we may be discussing that later in the podcast.
Well, in fact, Rob, we're going to be discussing it straight away because, look, unlike the local news journos out there who don't really do much investigative journalism, Rob, I want to take you on a journey, Rob, in this segment, okay?
Okay.
I know that you are sick of talking about but the UK animal killer, by the way, they're now being called. This is the new term. It's gone from the Croydon Cat Ripper to the Croydon Cat Killer to the M25 Cat Killer to the UK animal killer.
But can I just say that this is what they're being called by Snarl, and no one else is calling this term as far as I'm aware.
Well, Rob, I'm going to start us off now, okay, with the news shopper, the 7th of October, Rob. To quote Twin Peaks, it is happening again. Because, Rob, this is the headline. It's by Riley Cross. Death of cat found mutilated in Bellingham, consistent with UK animal killer. So, a cat was found opposite its Bellingham home, Rob, and it's being linked to the UK animal killer. On Saturday, October the 5th, the much-loved, in quotes, cat was found mutilated. I'm always interested by those kind of quotes because they're always rather generic, but of course the cat's going to be much loved. It's not going to be in quotes like the annoying and sort of ostracised cat, you know.
I mean, you say that, Alex. I mean, the way you've referred to Nibble in the past, I mean, I realise that he's not your family pet, but I do think there is a possibility that a hated cat could be found mutilated as well.
Well, that's true. A veterinary examination confirmed that her injuries were caused by a bladed instrument. The injuries are consistent with those inflicted by the UK animal killer, so sadly we are ruling this incident into our investigation. That's Snarl. Inquiries and leafleting are being carried out because, you know, Rob, if you can't get anywhere in life, a good leafleting campaign will always help you.
So I'm guessing this is just being conducted by the one remaining member of Snarl, the weird guy who'd been and this isn't alleged, you know, he's confirmed this, is keeping mutilated cat corpses in his freezer.
I have to tell you, Rob, I've seen a picture of this man and he looks like a cross between a young Robert De Niro and Nick. Do you remember Nasty Nick from EastEnders? Dot's son. If you merge those two together, He looks like that. So be careful what you say. He looks like a hard man.
Hang on. I thought we'd seen him before. I thought he was
He's got that ponytail.
A gentleman. Yes, that's right. Yeah, with long white hair. Is that not
No,
the case?
well, not the picture I saw, but I mean,
Have I
I could be
misremembered?
mistaken. But look, Rob, just on
Right.
this story, Joe Smith says this crap is going to go on forever, which I think is your kind of sentiments. But Jackanory the Fox says, I've just read Tony from Snarl state on the Pet Awareness UK Facebook page that, in quotes, many vets sit on the fence and go down the fox predator route. And there you have it. Many vets think it's fox predation. Tony, a few vets, and some vets he convinces otherwise, think it's human. So I think that person is sceptical like you, Rob. But look, another story from the New Shopper. Liam McInnery, UK animal killer strikes in Penge after half a cat's body found, Rob.
Okay, this is even more prevalent now. Prevalent? Do I mean prevalent? What do I mean? Prescient, I suppose. Steve has also done his homework on this. As I said, he's already submitted a story relating to your previous story, and he's saying the comment that accompanies his post is all I'm saying is that Alex is close geographically, and I think Bellingham.
There are plenty of people that are close geographically, Rob. Rob, I'd have to be a lunatic to go out at night killing cats for my own pleasure and then talk about it on a podcast.
That's right, Alex. Yes, you would have to be a lunatic.
Again, poor taste considering it's World Mental Health Day. But anyway.
Well,
Rob, the lower body of a cat was discovered in Penge this morning, marking another horrific animal finding in South London. The cat was missing for 2 days before it was found. Half of its body was cut off, including the tail. It was reported to Snarl. I suspect the cat was nabbed, taken away, worked on, and quietly dropped off early this morning. Tony Jenkins of Snarl told New Shopper. I'm not going to go into it too much. I mean, that's just another one. Today, in the New Shopper, didn't even have time to put a journalist on it by the looks of it. UK animal killer, second mutilated cat found in Penge this week. The body of a decapitated cat has been left on show in Penge, just 10 minutes from where a beloved pet was dumped 2 days ago. According to Snarl, the vets have confirmed the injuries were human-related. The headless and tailless body was discovered, as I say, in Penge. Tony Jenkins, founder of Snarl, had an explosive chat, Rob, explosive, with the New Shopper this afternoon, in response to what he believes was a human-caused mutilation. This is what Robbie said in this explosive chat. I call him a terrorist, he said. People are terrified of letting their cats out. People are petrified a head or tail will come back later. Body parts have been left outside schools, in kiddie playgrounds, in gardens with trampolines, and it's causing heartache. Someone needs to catch the bastard, all these killings will continue, he said. He might have been doing it for 20 years, we don't know. He might feel untouchable. This is about animals, and he may move on to humans. He may already have. We don't know. He's unleashing a reign of terror against cat owners. Any thoughts, Rob?
Not really, no.
Snarl has reported that the latest Penge mutilation involves a cat with a pure white body and pink paw pads. A statement read, if you're missing a cat of this description or know of someone who is missing a cat meeting this description, please contact us. We understand the cat may have been killed just hours after it was discovered. Tony told New Shopper... We understand the cat may have been killed just hours after it was discovered. That's a typo, isn't it?
Yeah, because that had
You can't kill the cat after it's already dead.
Yeah, the cat was alive and then they killed it.
Do they even read through their copy before they print it? Tony told New Shopper he was surprised the supposed killer returned to Penge so quickly. Roger the Dodger says, Tony had an explosive chat with the New Shopper. Hopefully that wasn't his bowels. In the next exclusive, could New Shopper ask...
What?
In the next exclusive, could New Shopper ask exactly what he does to investigate afterwards? What qualifies him to do this? What does he do for work? Why assumes it's a man killer? Why there's not a shred of evidence? And lastly, why did Boudica leave and set up a separate investigation herself?
Do you know what, Alex? This is what I was coming on to. I find it very suspicious that all of a sudden, and now that Snarl have splintered into two separate factions, I find it very suspicious that suddenly there's been a spike in cat killings.
You're treading on very dangerous ground, Rob.
I realise that. Do you know what? I realise that, and I don't give a shit.
Joe Smith says, right, come on then. How much is old Tony paying the news plopper to spread his crap for him? News plopper, we haven't heard that one before, Rob. What makes him so qualified to point fingers publicly? What evidence has he got to suggest it was a him? Why not a her or an it? Other than the appearance of the corpses, what other evidence is there to suggest it was a human? Other than the cliché ritual sacrifice horror scene that's always described. Can I just say, Rob, cliché ritual sacrifice horror scene is a very, very good episode title.
Yes, it really is, yeah.
You're doing it for attention and possibly wealth, aren't you, Tony? What started as a nice bit of attention on Facebook has snowballed. Now you're in too deep. The other loony has jumped ship before it sinks.
I've been googling pictures of Tony Jenkins while you've been reading out that wonderful story, and I just came across this beautiful quote which is featured in the Guardian, and we may have covered it, over our time reporting on this ridiculous story, and it's from, as I said, it's from the Guardian, and they were asking her whether Boudica Rising was her real name,
Right?
to which she responded, which is a great quote. It's the only one you're getting whilst to run around after a psychopath.
I think we did cover that before, but yeah. So
Amazing.
basically, Rob, every day she fears, she has to live under the threat of assassination.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So, Rob, I haven't ended there, right? Look, we've been covering these Croydon cat killings, UK animal killings for some time, Rob.
Yeah.
Somebody has to get to the bottom of this. And I want to contribute as much as possible, Rob. What if it isn't a fox, Rob? What if it isn't a human? I want to take you now, Rob, to Oregon in the United States. In the Boston Herald, October the 2nd, by the Associated Press. The headline, 5 bulls found dead in Oregon. Then the story gets weird. I ask you to listen to this, Rob, with an open mind. It's by Andrew Selsky.
Okay.
Salem, Oregon. The first dead bull was found in a timbered ravine in eastern Oregon. There was no indication it had been shot, attacked by predators, or eaten poisonous plants. The animal's sex organs and tongue had been removed. All the blood was gone. In the next few days, 4 more Hereford bulls were found within 1.5 miles in the same condition. There were no tracks around the carcasses. Ranch management and law enforcement suspect that someone killed the bulls. Ranch hands have been advised to travel in pairs and to go armed. Ever since the bulls were found over several days in July, Harney County Sheriff's Deputy Dan Jenkins has received no relation to Tony Jenkins. Isn't that?
Hang on.
Oh!
Hang on.
Yeah.
This is far too suspicious for my liking.
See, Rob, investigative reporting at its finest. He's received many calls and emails from people speculating what or who, Rob, might be responsible. The theories range from scavengers, such as carrion bugs eating the carcasses, to people attacking the animals to cause financial harm to the ranchers. Jenkins,
can I just ask,
who is leading the investigation, so we've got another Jenkins on the case.
I must admit, when you said that, I was really concerned that some crackpot had, again, I appreciate what day it is, I apologise for that term, but I think it's suitable in this situation, had been in touch to say it was aliens. I really thought for a second that was the suggestion.
Jenkins, who is leading the investigation, that also involves state police, has run into only dead ends and has no witnesses. If anyone has concrete information or knows of any cases that have been solved in the past, it would be helpful, he said. Colby Marshall, vice president of the Sylvia's Rally Ranch that owns the bulls, has another theory. We think the crime is being perpetuated by some sort of cult. But residents speculate, Rob, there could be UFO involvement.
Oh my God!
Wait!
Oh my fucking Lord!
One person suggested that Jenkins look for craters underneath the carcasses, saying it would be evidence that the bulls have been levitated into a spaceship, mutilated, and then dropped back into the ground. Similar incidents in the past have also garnered UFO theories. To lose a completely healthy animal would be an oddity, Marshall said. To lose 5 young, very healthy, in great shape, perfect bulls, they're all of basically the same age, that is outside the bounds of normal activity. Rob, can I say, 5 young, very healthy, in great shape, perfect bulls is a great episode title, and sounds like the kind of thing Donald Trump would say. It's the inclusion of the phrase "in great shape."
It also sounds like the phrase of a pervert. It sounds like that man has another interest in this case. Oh, they're in great shape. Look at those.
Marshall speculates the bulls were darted with a tranquilizer that knocked them out. While some people acted as lookouts, others bled the animals out by inserting a large gauge needle into the tongue and into the artery, and then removed the organs after the heart stopped beating, he surmised.
What?
Jenkins, the deputy, has a similar theory. Personally, he says, I would lean more towards the occult, where people, for whatever reason, whether it's the phase of the moon or whatever rituals they're going to do with their beliefs, are coming to different areas and doing that, he said. And the Oregon Cattlemen's Association, which is an association I want to be part of, is offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to the conviction of those responsible. But the ranch is offering $25,000. So they're obviously competing.
Can I just remind you of the tagline of this podcast? I mean, it's changed slightly recently, but it used to be the most trusted name in local news.
Rob, that was from the Boston Herald.
I appreciate that, Alex, but it feels that we've. I mean, there was always a possibility that we mentioned Snarl and into the Croydon cat killer. We'd move into conspiracy theories. That was always a possibility, but it feels that we've really taken a tangent today.
We might have done, Rob. Now I'm going to bring you back.
Okay.
Because I started with the cats, which we've been reporting on for God knows how long, and I've given you an example of mysterious goings-on in the United States. So is anything like that happening over here? Well, Rob, this is from the Hull Live. Man launches paranormal investigation after animals found mysteriously butchered. Right. Paranormal investigations are about to begin in East Yorkshire after speculation animals were found with their ears cut off and their organs removed with laser precision, Rob. Reports have been made over the past few weeks of a deer found in Bempton with their ears removed, but no other explanation as to their death, with no blood found at the scene. It's also believed sheep has been found with some of their internal organs removed with expert butchery skills, but again, no blood found. Craig, I hope you have an alibi. One man is now on a mission to get to the bottom of what's been happening in the area, including Bempton and nearby Flixton, as he believes it's a signal of paranormal or extraterrestrial activity.
Oh my God.
Wait, Rob, we're trying to get to the bottom of this. Listen.
I appreciate that, Alex. Yes, I appreciate it. But that this is not suggesting it's paranormal or extraterrestrial activity.
Why wouldn't it be?
Getting to the bottom of it.
Why wouldn't it be? Aliens would need to test our animals, Rob.
Mark Vernon,
who has been Mark Vernon, who has been investigating the paranormal for decades, said farmers have been losing a lot of animals recently, some with their organs and precise patches of skin removed. I'll be visiting these killing fields this week and looking at the woodlands. And
what the fuck is he talking about? I'll be visiting these killing fields to view the strange patches of flesh.
And I believe there's also an underground bunker which I want to investigate.
Oh my fucking
I
God.
want to entice whatever it is out and capture it on film. Bempton is a known UFO hotspot anyway, and while I deal mainly in ghosts, I want to help get rid of whatever it is mutilating the animals. Of course, Robbie deals mainly in ghosts.
Of course he. This is a northern equivalent of John Mooner.
Rob, wait. I don't believe in werewolves, which is good to know. But this is certainly something akin to the mutilations in America that have been linked to UFOs. Hailing from Wakefield, Mark Vernon says he saw his... Right, just want you to imagine this, Rob. Hailing from Wakefield, Mark Vernon says he saw his first ghost at the age of 10, when he was on the grounds of a dilapidated manor house, and watched, Rob, as a monk took his dog for a walk before they... How does he he not know it wasn't just a real mug taking his dog for a walk?
How did you know it wasn't just dark and someone was just in black clothing? Can I also say that I've been out for a night out in Wakefield and I've seen some terrifying spectacles there.
Rob, I've got to finish this sentence because it ends with beautiful poetry, something that really moved me. Just listen to what he says.
Does it?
Yeah, no, it does. When he was in the grounds of a dilapidated manor house and watched as a monk took his dog for a walk before they faded into nothingness. Faded into Nothingness is an album title somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's very Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
But I would just, I mean, they didn't just fade into nothing, did they? I'm assuming
they
was probably... No, they didn't. They just disappeared into the night because there was a strange man watching him walk his dog.
Mark Vernon, Rob, has since investigated the likes of Hull's Anison Funeral Parlour and 30 East Drive in Pontefract. They don't say what those relate to, but I'm going to have to look them up.
30 East Drive is famous.
Oh, really?
No, it generally is, yeah.
What, for some sort of ghost activity?
Yeah, for paranormal activity.
Right.
Yeah.
8 years ago, Mark was cleansing a family home when he captured an unknown figure walking through a wall of the cellar. Mark spent the next 6 years visiting the house, staying in the cellar overnight and speaking with the entity, who he claims turned out to be a Sumerian demon called Kara. Kara has since become his bodyguard, said the 54-year-old. We became friends because they became friends.
You've lost me. Hang on.
He was once cleansing a house and he was staying in their cellar and he's speaking with this entity that was there, and it turned out to be a Sumerian demon called Kara, and they've become friends over the years, and she now protects him when he's on paranormal investigations. And I just want to be clear, Robbie says she's not a ghost, she's just never been human, and she's been here a lot longer than us. She speaks Sumerian, which is one of the oldest languages in the world, and while she isn't attached to me as such, she does appear when I need her.
I think I'm getting a migraine.
A family in South Kirby, Wakefield, have been left so terrified to go upstairs they resorted to sleeping in the living room after claiming to hear ghosts playing with toys, slamming doors and flushing the toilet. I think we covered that. The flushing the toilet.
That does sound very familiar. Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Kara came with me, Mark says, to cleanse the house because the family was so terrified. I believe that when it comes to getting rid of a nasty or evil spirit, you need an even scarier one to help do the job for you. That's what Kara is, and she'll be coming with me to East Yorkshire to make sure that whatever's killed, or to make sure that we find whoever's killing these animals. Whatever is getting these animals is hitting them with such speed that some of their internal organs have imploded, and I'm determined to find out what it is.
What's this guy's name? I want to see him.
Mark Vernon.
I mean, Alex, it is an extraordinary story, and I don't quite know how we've managed to go from the Croydon Cat Killer to
Rob,
this.
What I'm saying is, could it be, Rob, that all of us have got it wrong? Could it be that the police in Operation Takahi got it wrong when they concluded it was foxes? Could it be that Tony Jenkins of Snarl has got it wrong when he believes that it's humans? Could it be, Rob, something paranormal doing this?
No.
Well, I should add that in Canada, a big case has just closed because they had a similar spate, Rob, a very, very similar spate over many years of horrific cat killings. Basically, it was attributed to humans over many years. There was quite a lot of panic and fear about it, and scientists who investigated it all concluded that it was, in fact, coyotes who did it.
Coyotes, which are very closely linked to the fox family, interestingly.
Yeah. Okay, Rob. I think we got that case cracked finally. Have you got a story for us?
Yeah, 2 stories. And I feel I should apologise because neither contain any real paranormal activity or any animal mutilations, which I know our listeners do love. However, I do feel they're of a good calibre. So my first story is from the Manchester Evening News. Goes back a couple of months. So it goes back to the 10th of June, 2019. So the story's by John Shearhout. I think that's close enough.
John Shithouse?
Shearhout.
John Shearhout.
No, not Shithouse.
Right.
Shearhout.
Okay.
Shearhout. I don't know. Headline. Confused passenger tries to open toilet door on flight and instead launches emergency escape chute.
So basically they opened the door to the plane?
Yes.
Holy crap. Can you imagine, like, you're wrenching on that door, like, didn't they look for the engage sign? You know, like, oh no, they don't have that today. It's just but can you imagine?
They do. I mean,
it's red or yellow or green,
very
isn't it?
different.
Oh my dear Lord.
Luckily, the flight hadn't taken off. It was still on the fucking tarmac.
I'd love it if he just walked through the door and just fell onto the runway.
So, a flight from Manchester Airport was delayed for 7 hours after a confused passenger reportedly managed to open the emergency exit after mistaking it for the toilet door.
Was the Mancunian in question drunk?
I don't think there's. I mean, it's quite a short story. There's no indication of that. No.
I mean, by drunk, I mean had more to drink than the regular usage of about 4 pints.
I thought it was drunk for the average Mancunian citizen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. Again, there's no indication of that.
Right.
It meant that the emergency chute was deployed and departure has to be postponed.
Did he slide down the slide?
Again, it doesn't say.
Because you might as well have taken the opportunity if it's there.
Well, you've gone that far. I mean, I don't know. Does it say whether it's a man or woman? No. A spokesman from Manchester Airport confirmed that the Pakistani International Airlines flight was delayed following the drama at Terminal 2 on Friday night. The airline was due to push back from T2. I think pushback is a return flight, by the way, from what I understand. When a female passenger reportedly opened the rear emergency door of the PIA jet. Some 39 passengers had to be offloaded, although not via the chute, while the engineers came to the scene. The aircraft was able to resume its journey to Pakistan 7 hours later.
I'm assuming the plane did actually have a toilet on, you know. I wonder if there's any plane out there, any passenger plane that's so low budget, there's just no loo. You know, have you ever been on one of those coaches? I once had to have a horrendous coach journey. I can't remember where it was going to, and there was just no toilet on board.
I have, yeah. I mean, let's face it. I mean, if there was an airline that was going to abolish toilets, it would be Ryanair.
Fuckers. Rob, can I just say something to you? Have you ever tried using a coach toilet? I'm sure you have. It's the most horrendous experience.
Yeah, I have in the past, yeah.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah. It wasn't any, any humorous anecdote. I've used one, but it's one of those. I think you used it as a last resort, and I think pissing in a bottle would probably be preferable.
Yeah. I had a pattern of incidents when I was younger, in my teens and early 20s, of getting stuck in toilets in very difficult situations. So,
right.
In one such case, I got stuck. The same thing happened. So I was in one of them. I was in Houston Airport. Okay, my family were literally, basically, we're at the gate and they called people to board. The plane's leaving. And I really, really needed the loo, and I ran off to go and use the loo. And my parents were like, well, you might miss the plane, what are you doing? But I ran off to use the loo. And when I locked the cubicle, and when I went to unlock the cubicle, the lock just came off in my hands. And I was trapped.
Of course it did, because it would do to you.
I was trapped in there, and I was banging, going, help, help. Nobody was listening. Luckily, in America, the gap between the floor and the cubicle door is quite large. So I had to get on the floor, squeeze my head under it, and squeeze my body underneath. And as I was doing it, there was just a man washing his hands on a sink who just looked down at me, didn't say anything, returned to washing his hands, and just left. I got on that plane in a nick of time, Rob.
Can I just, I have to say, because I've never been to the US before, so when I went to Canada, when we crossed over, that's the first time I went to the US, but Canada's the same. You're absolutely right with their cubicles.
Why do the cubicles have those gaps between the hinges?
Absolutely. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could easily just...
Easily. It's a good...
Yeah.
It's a good 3/4 centimetre gap. But it also happened to me...
It was really off-putting.
But it also happened to me again, Rob, somewhere in the French Alps. I took a cable car up to the top of some mountain, used the facilities there. We were all meant to be getting the cable car down. The cable car had come, and I was in the bathroom, and again the lock came off my hands. This time I couldn't get under the door. I had to climb over the cubicle, which wasn't pleasant for the person who was in the cubicle next to me, and run out and get on the cable car before it went.
Alex, I do understand the predicament you've been in, but this just screams of white privilege.
In what way?
You're talking about nearly missing a flight back from Houston, and then you were talking about, your terror in the French Alps after getting the cable car. I mean, it's not it's not fucking Bream Sands, is it?
Okay, well, fine. Nevertheless,
I'm just making an observation. That's all.
In one of them, Rob, I was only like 16. I could have been stranded in America.
Well, that's fine. Then you go on a homeowner style adventure.
Absolutely. Okay. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I think we've done with that story. So let's move on.
What was the story about? I can't remember.
The passenger who opened the emergency door as opposed to the toilet door. So I'm going to move on to this second story now. I need you to prepare yourself for this because it is brilliant.
I'm prepared.
I'll try and do this justice. So this is from the New Zealand Herald.
How did you come across this one, Rob?
I genuinely can't remember how I came across it, but I'm so glad I did because I've had it for a couple of weeks. I'd say a couple of weeks more, but it was probably after the last episode. But anyway, so the reporter is by Damien Venturo or Venturo? Venuto. There we go.
Whatever.
It's from the 30th of September. And the headline. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready, Rob. Come on. I know you've got something good for me here. I'm ready.
Auckland adman, someone who works in advertising,
right,
hires professional clown for a redundancy meeting.
I don't know. Right, okay. Right. What?
So
wasn't Ronald McDonald, was it? Because, no,
it wasn't. I mean, I think he would appreciate the work, to be fair. So, a Kiwi admin has chosen an unusual support person to accompany him to a redundancy meeting.
Why the fuck would you bring a clown to a redundancy? Anyway, sorry, I need to listen.
So, apparently, there is a law in New Zealand that states that if you're invited to a meeting with HR, you're allowed to bring an emotional support person with you.
Right. Why did he bring a clown?
This is well known. Who's to say? So, in lieu of the usual support of a friend, colleague, or family member, the member of the creative team at FCB hired a professional clown to attend the meeting with him. An image sent to the Herald overnight shows the staffer sitting along his support clown while he tries to talk to the individual running the meeting. It gets better.
Did he want to be sacked then? Because it's not going to help, is it? You know, you're really taking the piss out of your employers.
But I think he anticipated that he's going to be made redundant, so
Right.
he just thought he was going to have fun with it.
Right, okay.
So in the strange world of support creatures, this adds another colourful addition to the quirky crew that includes hedgehogs, peacocks, and goats.
I just love the idea that also this clown. I want him to be a man in full clown regalia, but just sitting back, very relaxed, smoking a cigarette.
He is in full clown makeup.
Is he smoking a cigarette?
Because
that's what I want.
Making balloon animals.
He's blowing balloon animals. Okay.
No, he was making balloon animals during the conversation. The Herald understands that the clown blew up balloons and folded them into a series of animals throughout the meeting.
I wonder if the animals had symbolic, like a chicken, in calling his employers chicken, that kind of thing.
If the clown was trying to add context to that conversation by sculpting animals that related to his redundancy, that would be, that'd be quite impressive.
Well, I'm thinking of Blade Runner, where the where Harrison Ford's main character, there's that other detective that goes around with him, and he makes all those origami figures, and the origami figures have reference to what's going on in the story. You see?
Oh yes, good point.
Yeah.
It's further understood that the clown mimed criming when the redundancy paperwork's handed over to the staff.
Mind what? Crying?
Yeah. So you know how they sort of rub their
I
eyes?
see, right. I thought you meant he was miming the Roy Orbison song. But isn't there that song, Crying Over You?
Oh, yeah.
But either one works.
That'd be quite strange. Yeah.
Right, okay.
A spokesman for the FBC told the Herald that the agency has a policy of not commenting on individual employee matters out of respect for those involved. In the email title, chlorophobia, which translates as the fear of clowns, the spokesman did, however, say it was up there with the strangest stories she'd ever been contacted about. The latest restructure, the FBC follows on from job cuts to the agency after the loss of the Vodafone ad contract, in case anyone cared about that. It is understood the staffer has, however, landed on his feet since his meeting at FBC, getting a new job at DDB.
In the circus?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
No. DDB, by the way, is a massive ad company, if no one knows, with his creative partner, in brackets, not the clown. In case anyone was
Maybe
concerned.
his creative partner's the Hamburglar.
Oh, could you imagine that? It was the clown, but he's got rid of him as soon as the McDonald's contract was terminated. He took on the hamburger instead.
Exactly. Now, Rob, last week you featured a brilliant story about Pontins, didn't you?
Oh yes.
And we talked about our idea of sending sort of TV celebrities, particularly sort of children's entertainers from the late 80s and early 90s. So sort of one of these celebrity reality shows. They have to basically stay in a chalet in Pontins for a week. And Noel Edmonds was the host. I think we said we'd call it, what was it? Noel's Celebrity...
Chalet
Noel's
Challenge?
Pontins Challenge.
Yeah.
We enjoyed that, Jet. I enjoyed it immensely. Now, this is our obligatory story from the Daily Mirror by Tom Kershaw and Matthew Dresch from the 3rd of October. It's Pontins, Rob. It's back. Another story. Got to read it out. Family storm out of Mouldy Prison Cell, Pontins Chalet, after just 59 minutes. Not an hour, Rob. 59 minutes.
Why would you stay that long? If it was that bad, why would you stay up to an hour?
It's a good question. A dad and his family stormed out of their holiday chalet after discovering the prison cell, in quotes, bedroom they're expected to sleep in. Steve Clifton, 53, said the Pontins accommodation had a hole in the roof, a mouldy sock hanging from a radiator, and 2 tiny beds.
Beautiful.
A hole in the roof, a mouldy sock hanging from a radiator, and 2 tiny beds is a very good episode title.
It is.
His wife, Rebecca, 35, so 18 years younger than him, Rob.
That's fine. That's okay in this day and age.
And 3-year-old daughter Elsie travelled 3 hours to reach Pontins Southport, only to be greeted with, Rob, in quotes, the holiday from hell. Mr. Clinton from Marfleet in Hull described the property as filthy and said it looked like it had not been cleaned in years. Hull Live reports. Now, Rob, I just want to contextualise this. This man is from Hull. If he is saying this place is filthy and looks like a prison sort of camp, then I think we have to believe him.
I'm going to choose to remain neutral on this subject.
The family left the property less than an hour after arriving. He added, I've seen some things in my time, but it's the worst accommodation I've been in. I've never seen a place so dirty. It was like a prison block, and from the outside it looked like a Cold War bunker. Bloody hell, Rob, Pontins are not getting good publicity at the moment, is it? How is it that Thomas Cook, the oldest travel company in the world, can go down, but Pontins is still around?
The only thing I can think is the fact that luckily Pontins don't own an airline.
It wasn't healthy for my 3-year-old daughter, and the pull-out sofa bed was the size of a postage stamp. Steve had paid an extra £60 for a club room, which is meant to mean, Rob, a more deluxe accommodation, after booking the holiday through Sun Holidays for £40, Rob. That's where you book your holidays, isn't it? He arrived at Pontins Southport following the long journey.
That was unnecessary.
Was it? He arrived at Pontins Southport following the long journey from Hull, but lasted just under an hour in the room, despite being checked in for 4 nights, Rob. Steve said, I take these things as they come on face value. I don't look at TripAdvisor, and we booked Southport because it sounded all right. Well, there's your first mistake.
Yeah, you shouldn't just... I mean... You must have looked at something in order to choose that particular holiday resort. If you're just putting holiday resort into Google, you need to do more research.
Well, the first thing I noticed driving up was how shabby it looked and how it looked like a Cold War bunker. There are a few issues with the place. As soon as we got there, we parked up and went to reception. We paid an extra £60 for a club apartment, an upgrade, so we arrived at 2 p.m. We got into reception with not really a problem, but the issue started when they arrived at their room. As you drive around, it's a big circle of chalets, but they look like they've been cloned. It looks like a zoo or prison block with big glass fronts. There was no privacy. It went right to the other side and up some steps. That's not a problem, but as soon as we got upstairs, we noticed the whole building was filthy. While unpacking, Steve decided to look around the room to inspect it further, but was shocked when he saw a child's sock poking out the bottom of the bedroom radiator. Explaining what the room looked like, Steve said there was muck, dirt, and it was full of cobwebs. It was the whole unit of apartments. It had been stuck in time for 20 years at least. There was no privacy. It was just a big goldfish bowl. There was a big hole in the roof, and of course we opened the door and there was a little dingy room, not bigger than a caravan. There was a sofa bed, and as we pulled it out, it was tiny. We had a tiny little table, a little far corner and kitchen area. Just beside that was a little cupboard and a 19-inch TV. That is low, giving them a 19-inch television in this day and age.
Again, Pontins.
Above that was a picture which was Art Deco with a pin that had been put through the nipple of the woman.
Hang on, that is our episode title.
What do you think? An Art Deco picture with a pin put through the needle of the woman, the nipple of the woman.
Yes,
yeah.
I love that.
Steve claims that was proof the room hadn't been cleaned, and he stopped unpacking. He said it was about the size of a prison cell, not in good condition, with a rusty radiator hanging off the wall. This was manky, and when I looked behind the radiator, it was filthy, and there was a kid's sock hanging out the bottom. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. The hole in the roof is absolutely terrible, Rob. It had never been looked at ever. It was obvious to see they'd never ever cleaned it. It had never been cleaned, full of rubbish and all sorts. At that point, I'd had enough. We thought of unpack before seeing this mess, and then we just packed back up and left. I stood outside on the balcony and saw the next cell block with their faces. It was very much a picture. I paid for an upgrade, but the room was exactly the same. The best thing would be to bulldoze it, to be honest. It's Pontins going to ruin, and they are taking people's money. Steve says he took the sock back to reception to show staff before they were leaving. He had to fork out an extra £143 for a B&B in another area of the town, and then looked at the negative reviews online. I got back home after the week away and went online. It was all the same. I put a review online, and I've told Sun Holidays not to recommend this place to anybody. It would have ruined the entire week if we would have left, but I thought about going straight back home. It would have been 7 hours wasted, but at least I wasn't in there anymore. Pontins was approached for comment. It doesn't say anything after that. Not even that they didn't respond.
No, they responded with another great holiday and a satisfied customer.
Well, Crazy One says, doesn't look half bad for the price. Probably not the place for snobs and the like. People just want something for nothing these days. I assume that is a sarcastic comment.
No, I think, Alex, I think that's completely genuine. I mean, unfortunately, we can't all go to the French Alps.
Gower57 says, here we go again. When will people learn? Don't book a Pontins holiday.
I mean, that's a fair point.
Old Bird 44 says you get what you paid for. I mean, that is generally true in life.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Tony Wicketer says if the sock fits, which is
stick it down the radiator.
Tony Wicketer says again, nipple of a woman. Ooh.
Comment of the week.
George86 says, what do you expect for £3.33 each a night?
I mean, when you break it down like that.
Yeah, 40 quid, Rob, for 4 days between 3 of them. I mean, what did he expect? M98 says, every single week there's some horror story about Pontins. Why do people still insist on going and then selling a story about horrendous it is?
To be fair, I mean, let's face it, people are doing this on purpose. This is a great way because you pay for your holiday, you stay for the 4 time, or you claim you don't, but then you do stay for the 4 time, and then you just complain to the local paper and get your money back.
Yeah. I'll just end on this comment, Rob. Bill Wiz says, of course it's a shithole. It's Pontins, otherwise known as Chav Disneyland.
Oh, another great episode title. I'm
going to be honest, Banks' Dismal Land, which he did that time, sounds like it would be an upgrade on Pontins.
Yeah, because I think with Dismal Land, it was intentionally shit, whereas Pontins, they can only dream of that.
Maybe one day we'll discover that Pontins was this amazing 50-year piece of like performance architectural art. Like it was set up.
If that's the case, if it is supposed to be this some sort of dystopian nightmare of a holiday camp, and it's all been part of one. She said one performance art piece. That would be incredible, but I suspect it isn't.
Right, Rob. Well, it is that time of the week, Rob, for our listener story of the week, and who is it from?
So it's from Amy this week. And it's from the Lincolnshire Live website. Now, I get the impression. Now, do you remember recently we had a story, and I don't think it was from the Lincolnshire Live, by a trainee reporter?
Yes.
I think it might be the same guy.
Because
the story is by Matthew Lodge, and I'm sure I recognise that name. Amy, can you let us know if the last story was also from Matthew Lodge? Because I think we asked you to keep an eye out for his stories, as obviously he is.
Yes, we did. We did ask her. I think she's done what we asked.
Yeah, I think
so what's the story?
It's from the 1st of September, and the story is, I hired a builder to fix my roof, but he had a poo on it instead. A homeowner was left stunned and revolted.
Where's this again?
This is Skegness.
Well, what do you expect?
Alex, you can't. If it's Pontins, yes, you can make those comments.
Skegness.
There are parts of Skegness that are really nice.
I'm sure there are. Okay, come on.
I would guess. A homeowner was left stunned and revolted after he discovered a builder had fixed a leak but defecated on the top of his roof.
What this says to me is this person hired a builder, got them to fix a roof, and when the builder left, went up to check on the job. Like on a ladder, and got up there and just saw a turd. How does he know it was a builder and it wasn't just a fat bird?
Because he's got a picture.
Oh, what, of the poo or the builder doing the poo?
The man shitting on his roof.
Well, he's got CCTV on his roof.
I'll come on to that. The 38-year-old dad said he checked out the company thoroughly before he hired them to stop a leak in his loft at his home in Skegness. But he was horrified to discover that one member of the firm's staff had left a large pile of feces behind, and some of it had even been put down his chimney.
So, Rob, you're a builder, right? You're up there and you're caught short. And you have that choice in that moment. Do I climb back down the ladder and ask to use the facilities in the house? Or do I just take a dump on the roof? And he probably did it, and it was bigger than he expected. He thought, fucking hell, I can't leave this up here. So he shoved some of it down the chimney. Ready for Santa at Christmas.
What a shitty Christmas. To make matters worse, the grinning culprit had his photo taken during the dirty deed and had then shared them with his friends.
So he photographed himself doing the shit on the roof?
I think one of his friends had taken it. So there was obviously a few of them on the site.
Go on, Gary, do a shit on the roof. Way! That kind of thing.
Now, I am perfectly willing to accept that I'm by no means an alpha male. I've come to terms with this now. But I've never been in a situation where I've been shitting on a roof where my mate is taking a picture of me in the act.
I've never had anybody take a picture of me doing a shit full stop, Rob.
No, well, I can't go that far. The homeowner who's asked to remain anonymous said, I needed a leak in my loft fixing. I saw an advert in the local brochure. I did my checks. It appeared to be okay, so I asked them to do the work. I went up on the scaffolding and noticed the feces. I was a bit disgusted. I had said to them that I would provide toilet facilities in the house and they could use the kitchen whenever they started work. They'd even shoved some... Sorry. They'd even shoved some down my chimney stack.
Why would you do that?
It's dreadful behaviour. Yes, it is dreadful behaviour.
Well, did it, you know, like, did it drip down into his fireplace? Was he just sitting there one evening and some shit just fell down into the fire? Can you imagine? Well, it falls into the fire burns it, and you just have the smell of smouldering shit wafting through the house.
Well, this is, I hope, let's hope he doesn't have an open fire. Let's hope that chimney is blocked, because otherwise that's massively unpleasant. The 38-year-old was then stunned to find pictures circulating showing one of the builders grinning at the camera in a photo during the act. Skegness is a very small area, he said. He sent the photo to someone, and they found their way to me. I asked the director of the company about it and showed him the photos, and he got very aggressive. It doesn't say whether he got aggressive with the homeowner or.
I think he got aggressive with the homeowner. I wish we knew what he said.
Come on, mate. Everyone's had a shit on your roof occasionally.
Yeah, what do you expect?
So I'd be gone in a couple of days. After refusing to pay, the homeowner was then forced to hire another company to finish the job and double check everything had been done correctly.
But unfortunately, when they left, he found the combination of urine, feces, and semen on the roof.
The homeowner said, well, this is what you expect. Yeah, I got another company to finish the job because I wasn't sure they'd done a good job, i.e. the first company. Lincolnshire Live has contacted the building firm for a response. This is not the first poo-related incident to take place on the Lincolnshire coast in recent weeks. Only last week, a man was caught on CCTV having a poo outside in Goldmel's bar before taking a photo of it.
Right, well, Rob, look, that brings this episode of LA Podcast. Well, we're not really at a close, but I will, because we've got to spell out the word anaesthetic like we always do. But I will say, Rob, that we do look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation yet trepidation to our next episode, which will be episode 290, Rob. As we move ever more forward, Rob, like whatever that thing was, Rob, that moved with incredible speed and killed those bulls. Whatever it is that killed that deer over here. Didn't mean that to rhyme. Whatever it is that's killing those cats, Rob. Aliens, ghosts. Something's out there, Rob. And it will happen again. Just like that, we move ever more forward to our next episode, which will be episode 290. We can be found on our website, lapodcast.net. From there, you can download all of our previous episodes for free. But of course, we're on every podcast app going. If you just search for us, LA Podcast or Local Anesthetic, probably easier to put in LA Podcast. Hit subscribe, leave us a review. We really appreciate that. There is a donate button in the top right-hand corner of our website if you want to donate to this podcast, set up a rolling donation just to help us keep going, really, recording these wonderful episodes we put out each week. You can do that, and we're on Twitter at LA Podcast, Facebook, facebook.com/LA Podcast. You want to send us a story and feature on this podcast, then post it on Facebook, tweet it to us, or email us the good old-fashioned way at lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com. And you always want me to point out, Rob, we're also on Spotify.
Yeah.
As is a tradition, we do need to spell out the word anaesthetic phonetically according to a theme. And I was thinking, Rob, woodland animals, surely. We did mention woodland animals earlier, and with our background as woodland animal murder detectives, I think we should do it. So I think I need to go first, don't I? With ant. Get
Very
ants
nice.
in the woods.
Yep. Okay. N. Obviously the bird nightingale.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, that's very nice,
That's
Rob.
right. Thank you.
What's next? Is it A again?
Yep.
Aardvark. I don't even know where aardvarks live, so I'm assuming it's the woods, unless anybody tells me otherwise. Or an anteater, because somebody to eat the ants that are in the wood.
Right. Okay. E. Elephant. Elephant, as everyone knows, live in the rainforest.
No, Rob, you've got no. Come on, Rob, we can't.
Hang on. Elephants live in the rainforest, Alex.
We said woodland.
That's a woodland
Rob.
animal.
Woodland. No, woodland isn't a rainforest. Come on.
Okay. Eagle.
Okay. What's next?
Hang on. S.
Stoat.
Very nice, yeah. Okay. T. Trout.
Is it H? Heron. You get heron in a lake in the woods. Lovely heron.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Another E. Fuck's sake. Emu. Which is obviously near the savannah.
No, you're not having the emu, Rob. We're talking woodland.
Oh. Then I would say an earthworm.
Okay, that's brilliant. What's next?
The T.
Oh, tiger.
Hang on. If I was an elephant now, you can't have tiger.
I can't have tiger. Tarantula. Maybe.
I'll let that pass. So what am I? Well, your friend of mine, the ibis.
The ibis is a bird, I believe, as well as a chain of hotels.
Yes, I meant the bird.
And C for crab.
Lovely stuff.
No, I'm going to joke. Crow. Surely it has to be crow.
I prefer crab.
Well,
Tree crab.
if anybody's, I know a lot of people fall asleep listening to this podcast. This is the time to wake up and just to hear the end.
Yeah, wake up and smell the crab. Sorry.
Wake up and smell the crab. We'll be back in a week's time. Thank you so much for listening. God bless.
And keep it local.